Kate and Isaiah Living Large. I'm Isaiah.
And I'm Kate.
And on this episode, we are going to talk about embarrassing moments and all the funniness that ensued because of that. But before we get started, we want to just plug again the 5K Port City Beer Run that's coming up. It is now about 2 weeks away. So if you want to sign up, you need to jump on that Facebook page, Port City Beer Run 2023, to get signed up. We will be excited to have you there if you want to join us, or if you just want to do it on your own, go for it. We definitely recommend. I am excited. Are you excited to get going on that?
Yeah, I'm super excited. Super excited. Been training.
We're getting ready,
Getting
rocking it, all excited. I'm really excited for it. So again, that's the Port City Beer Run. It's a 5K, starts at Moosehead and goes to the Diamond Jubilee uptown. So it is downhill for the most part. Again, you go on their Facebook page, Port City Beer Run 2023, and all the information on how to sign up and everything is there.
Perfect.
But I think we should get started.
I think we should start with, it was my suggestion to do this.
I think you should start the one. I think you...
No, it was my suggestion to do an embarrassing story episode because I have a great many. And I mentioned it to Isaiah and he said, oh yeah, that sounds good, but I don't really have any. And I was like, excuse you?
I am a cool dude. I have a few. I like one or two. Maybe, yes.
I will tell as many as there's time for, but I probably have exponentially more that I'm not telling or not thinking about. I'm not holding anything back, I promise. And these for me are directly weight or weight adjacent related.
Yeah, no, I have some embarrassing stories that aren't weight related. I'm not gonna tell those.
Yeah.
But I have one or two embarrassing weight related stories.
So the first one I'll start with just happened last fall or last, winter season, November-ish. And as you all know, if you've listened to this podcast, I was at my absolute heaviest then. So I was not feeling very good about myself. And one of my weekly things that I like to do is I host trivia at Big Tide. And that means speaking in a microphone, which I don't hate. And if you listen to this podcast, you can understand that because I do this. So doing that in front of people, my dream space. But it was getting to a point that getting around the room, especially if it was busy, got a little bit cumbersome. So on a particularly busy Wednesday evening, I managed to be hosting trivia and I went to go collect scores and there was a tight squeeze between two tables and I tripped over one and I belly flopped right in the middle of the restaurant.
Oh no.
Like complete flat out belly flop, and out of reflex tried to get up as fast as I possibly could because, in my head, if I got up fast, nobody would notice that happened. That's not true. So I get up really fast only to get to my knees and belly flop again because I tried to get up too fast.
Oh, man.
And so a hush fell over the restaurant and people were like, and I was yelling, I'm fine. Don't come get me. I'm fine. And then my friend Damon came over and helped me up and that was all fine. And, it was pretty embarrassing. I was feeling kind of bad about it, but I did ask Chris at Big Tide if he could find the security footage. So maybe on our socials, I'll share with you this video,
or maybe right after here.
Well, maybe we'll put it right in for those of you who are listening
YouTube.
On YouTube. It'll be right in the video, but I'll share it on socials if you want to see it separately. If you're listening like on one of the other apps. And what I did once I got this video is I also added sound effects to the second version of it.
Goodness.
So I'll send.
It's gonna be like right around here somewhere. On YouTube. It will be right there. It's gonna be hilarious.
And so I really very much leaned into the hilarity of this But I will say, and there are some people who caught this at the time, and I told them it was fine, but it really did weigh on me because I felt really embarrassed that I was so big and got caught on a chair, and like I just felt very exposed. And it was, one of the things that led up to me making the decision to, reel it in and try to lose some weight too. So yeah, so that's one. How about you share one of yours, Isaiah?
So one of my embarrassing stories it has to do with those stupid plastic chairs.
Ooh.
We've talked about this before on like one of our very first episodes. That was like 12 episodes ago. One of our very first episodes, we talked about those stupid plastic chairs, and I can't remember what patio deck it was. It was not here in St. John. It was like in Fredericton or something. Had those stupid white plastic chairs, and I sat down on one, and as soon as I sat down, I felt the legs just buckle and literally just buckled, and I was on my butt just in the middle of a deck, beer deck on a nice day, all these people around me, and I'm just like just mortified because of those stupid chairs.
Yeah.
I blame those chairs. I hate them.
Oh yeah, they are the worst. I mean, I didn't even think about this one, but I had a sidebar funny story where I sat on a pub patio, and these were like heavier duty than the white plastic one, but they're still plastic ones, but they were like restaurant grade plastic chairs, and they were better, but these ones had sat out all through the winter. And so they're like sweet spots. And this was almost kind of funny. This is years and years ago. I sat on it, and it was almost like it happened in slow motion where the front legs came out. And I kind of like, it was almost like I went down in an elevator, but it was me zooming to the ground.
Oh.
And it was, I remember that my colleagues at the time were like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I think so."
I think I'm all right. Yeah, that was definitely an embarrassing moment. Those stupid chairs. Yeah, just like I felt it was like slow motion. I sat down, and it was like in my head it was slow motion. It definitely wasn't, but I just could feel them buckle.
It's a bad feeling when that starts to happen. You're like, "Oh, I can't get out of this. I could try to jump up fast, but I'm not going to do it."
Oh, the worst. Oh.
My next one is also chair related, and I can't remember if I told this one on our chair episode, but I went into the HR department's office, the HR person's office at my work, and I sat down in a chair that I knew was too narrow for me, and I kind of wedged into it, and then it collapsed to the ground, and I'd been having a bad week, and I started to bawl, and she was like, "No, Caitlin, it was already broken." But, when you're collapsed on a chair that's collapsed underneath you in HR's office, and you're just like,
Right.
I'm bawling, and it's like, "Oh, but I'm so fat." But she was like, "No, but it was already broken. I don't know why I had it out."
Yeah, you did tell that. I remember that one.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry for the replay.
We will listen. We're already 12 episodes in. It's gonna be some replays of some of our
Yeah.
some of the greatest hits. Come on now. Another embarrassing one about my size, and it has not necessarily to do with weight, kind of do with weight. I had to go to an interview for a job, and this is me being dumb as well. This is more about me being dumb. But I was like, I need a belt. I don't have a belt. And I stupidly was like, Nigel. And if you've ever met Nigel, if you know who Nigel is, or if you are Nigel, he's a skinny dude. He is a very skinny dude. And for some reason, I thought I could borrow a belt from him. And so he's like, "I'll bring you a belt, but it's not going to fit." I was like, "I'll try it, whatever." There is no way a belt that fits that dude is going to fit me no matter what weight I am at this point. And that was like, oh my God, why did I think a belt would, he is like a toothpick. He is so skinny. And yeah, I thought for whatever reason, in my mind, I could borrow a belt from him because belts are one size fits all, apparently.
They are not. They are not. I have another clothing related one since we're
perfect.
Did I ever tell you about my modeling gig?
No, I know. I
I
never heard
know,
about this.
shocking. I know none of you are shocked that I once acted as a model. Walked the runway the whole bit. It was when I was living in Woodstock, a dress shop called Miss Fancy Pants, that I'd bought a dress that I had worn to my sister's wedding, where I was maid of honor. It was a beautiful black dress, and it was a really nice fit. Like it was lovely. She had asked me, because I'd bought it at her shop, if I'd wear it in this fashion show for charity, and she was showcasing some of her other clothing, and I was like, yeah, of course. No problem. She's like, I'll pick up your pantyhose. I was like, are you sure? I said, I don't mind picking them up because I have to get them special, not super special, but like at the plus size store, the largest size at Walmart or whatever. And she's like, no, there's these special, of course, I've got the size covered. Don't worry about it. But there's these special pearlized ones that I want to use. And I was like, you're absolutely positive. And she's like, yeah, we got it. And so that's fine. She hands me these like one size fits all pantyhose, which were very lovely feeling and looking, but they did not fit me. Like, there was no way they got maybe halfway up past my knees. They covered like the area from the dress. So I thought, well, I'll probably be able to make do with them. And so,
I can only see where this is going already.
Walking the runway, and I'm confident and feeling good. And they did all your hair and makeup to do this whole deal. I had fake eyelashes on, the whole get up.
I can already see where this is going.
I'm walking and I'm strutting, and there's like probably a couple hundred people there, including a newspaper reporter snapping the pictures. And I start to feel the roll.
Oh no.
The roll from the top. And I think, okay, I can make it, because the dress went just below the knees. And it started kind of up around the thigh. I was like, oh no, we're rolling. I still had half the runway to go. And I didn't want to race out of there because it would look like, that's not model behavior. And so I'm still strutting, but then I can feel them roll some more. So I try to like spread my legs out a little bit, and I'm kind of waddling along, trying to hold them up. But by the time I got out the door, these were definitely around my ankles.
That is something as a guy, I would never think of. That, yeah, I guess the pantyhose or whatever come in different sizes.
But of course they do.
Clearly, they aren't. I just picture
they're stretchy.
They're stretchy. So, and yeah, I never. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Is there a picture of the half down? There's got to be, someone has to have that picture.
Oh, I don't think so, because I think I did manage to leave the room before they fell completely around my ankles. I've had that happen more than once, where the pants start rolling down, or not the pants, but the pantyhose. It's happened to me recently. It happened to me while I was in Toronto once at the National Newspaper Awards. Another situation, I was in the hotel and I was making my way to my room, and I had a bunch of stuff. I had my luggage and stuff, so my hands were full, and my pantyhose started to roll down, and in the same kind of scenario, and I was like, oh no, I've got to make it to my room. There were people on the elevator with me, and I'm like holding my knees apart so that I could try to keep them up, and like contorting myself so that they don't roll down. And then I managed to get just before I hit my room, and they rolled the rest of the way down.
Oh no. Oh, that's kind of never thought of that. But yeah, that's definitely embarrassing for sure. Yeah. Hilarious at the same time.
Oh yeah. And then, back to like getting yourself into awkward situations. One time I sprained my knee, and I was at Big Tide, and I went to get into my friend's vehicle, and it's 2-seater in the back. Or no, sorry, it's not a 2-seater in the back. It's 2-door. So, and it's like a sports car. So I was trying to squeeze myself and contort myself
into the back
with a sprained knee into the back seat. I don't know what logic there was for me to get into the back seat, but I tend to be an affable person who's just like, yeah, sure, no problem, I'll get in the back seat. No big deal. I have a sprained knee and I'm fat.
I have a hard enough time getting into the back seat of cars. Like, they're terrible. Why would you sit in the back seat of a car like that?
I don't know, but getting in was one thing. Getting out was a whole other matter. I managed to get out. The worst time, though, in this situation, it was one night, like many of my stories go, it was years and years ago, and I was at Big Tide, go figure, and it was a bad snowstorm, so bad that cabs had stopped running.
Oh.
And so at the time, Becky, who continues to work there, lived on the west side, and she couldn't get a cab home. And Bree, who used to work there, said, my brother has a Jeep. He'll come pick us up for sure. And so he did, Brandon. And I'd never met Brendan before. And he came in his Jeep. And it was a 2-door Jeep. Now, Jeeps are sizable once you're inside, but any 2-door vehicle is a beast to get in.
Yeah.
So, and he's a perfect stranger to me. Becky gets in the one side. I squeeze my way and contort my way into the other. But once I was in, it was fine. Drop Becky off. There's a funny related story that not really embarrassing for me, but for Becky, so I'll save that one. And it's not actually embarrassing for Becky. It was, well, she had boots on and she took her boots off and said, "Oh, my feet kind of stink." But it was as we were driving by the pulp mill, and I was like, I kind of looked at her and I was like, and she was like, "No, that's the pulp mill, Caitlin."
Sure, Becky.
So that was fine. So that's fine. We dropped Becky off. We get to Bree's house, and at the time she lived on the corner of Crown Street and Union. Yeah, Crown and Union, the apartment building there. So once Bree got out, I thought, well, I'll get out here, get back in the front so you can drive me to Duke Street or whatever. And I'm trying to maneuver my way out of the back seat. Now, I don't know how I did this or why I went about this way. Keep in mind, the snow is just pounding. There's massive snowbanks on the road. It's pretty dangerous out. This had been like an hour-long trip to the west side and back. Like, I managed to wedge myself out backwards, and it was almost like a cork being popped out of a bottle. It was like a or whatever noise that makes. And I kind of flip backwards out of the car, land flat on my back in a snowbank. And for some other reason, I was wearing slip-on shoes. Both of my shoes and all of my socks somehow go flying in this. So I'm flat on my back in a winter storm with no shoes and no socks on.
Oh my goodness.
Just laughing hysterically to myself with a stranger.
That's fine. I have no like car related ones. Most of mine are clothes related, to be honest.
Yeah.
There goes the mic again. That's the second time that's done that in our recording. That time it was like, oh, if you're not watching, you're missing it.
Yeah.
Another one. I had some dress pants that and this is more recent-ish, from when I got a suit from when I got married.
Did you borrow it from Nigel? Just joking.
I didn't smarten up, but no, I did not borrow it. But when I got married, I was a little bit more fitter than I am now. And when this happened, I don't know, it was probably a couple of years ago that this happened, but I put on the dress pants to go to an event thinking that these dress pants will still fit me. They didn't, but I forced them on and they kind of fit. I put them on. I kind of got them belt buckled like you do, you suck in your gut, you suck it in and whatnot. And away I went with these tight pants on. They're too tight. And got to this event and we were doing something and I had to bend over. And as I bend over, I hear and I go, well, I think I need to go home. And luckily I had like a suit jacket, so I just kind of like tied the suit jacket around my waist and just kind of like left the event and went and changed. But I was like, oh no.
So you didn't get caught?
Did not get caught. That was one time that my pants ripped. I have another time my pants ripped. This time is more because they were like, no, I wear jean shorts. I like jean shorts. I know
you
it's
call those jorts?
I know it's a fashion faux pas, but I like jean shorts. I don't care. But I had a pair of jean shorts that I really liked, and I wore them a bunch. And so the crotch had like kind of worn out on them because thick thighs,
Oh,
rubbing.
I get it. Girl, I get it.
little rubby dub.
Little chub rub is what we call it.
Chub rub. I've never heard that. Chub rub.
It's chub rub.
That has a whole other meaning. But anyway, I can't stop laughing. Anyway, so I went to work. I sat on when I didn't work from home. This is when I worked in an office, and I sat on the bus and I was sitting on the bus with them on, and get all the way into work with them on, and I sit down next to my buddy Scott, who I was working with, and I sit down and I just and I rip the crotch out, the crotch rips, and I just look at him and went, rip my crotch. And then I had to go to my supervisor at the time and was like, I need to go home for a moment. And they're like, why? And I was like, I ripped my pants. And they're like, oh, here's a sweater to put on. Scott will drive you home so you can change. And we'll see you in a bit.
Well, that was nice of them. That was good of them. At least they didn't send you back on the bus.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. No. And Scott drove me home to change because yeah. No. And Scott will bring that up every so often because it was just like, I literally just looked down and just went, rip my pants.
Rip my pants.
Oh, goodness. Some funny, embarrassing moments.
I have another one also related to Brienne, who I was with for the flat on my back in a snowbank, wedging myself out of a Jeep story. She is a server. She's bubbly, slim, really fit, works out all the time, and not overly tall. She's a lovely person, and she's only 4 years younger than me. So at the time, I think she was about 28 or 29, and I was about 32 or 33, and we decided to go to the gym together. And she was super fit and, looked super fit. And I was wearing schleppy clothes and was paid the $10 entry fee to go to Good Life, and that's fine. And she goes in, swipes her pass. I was paying my $10 fee, and the girl working at the front desk goes, "Aw, that's so nice. Mother and daughter going to the gym together." And I was like, my mouth dropped, my eyes got big, and I was like, we're the same age.
That's, oh dear.
So she's called me mom, and that's all, we're talking 8 or 9 years ago now. She's called me mom ever since.
Some things you learn in the customer industry. Yeah. Don't assume someone's age. Don't assume someone's pregnant. Don't do that.
Oh, yeah, that's really bad. It's happened to me, too.
Don't assume genders. That's just a general rule for life.
Just,
be
you
nice.
Just don't have to make comments about stuff like that. You just don't. But, the funny things that happen, I'm happy to laugh at them for myself because I have a whole other series of stories that are not weight or looks related that are... And a lot of them are my doing too. Like sometimes stuff just happens to me. An old friend of mine said that I should wear a GoPro for some of the wild stuff that just happens.
Maybe that could be a conversation for our Patreon.
Maybe it could.
So this is where I'm going to plug. Well, first I'm going to plug again that we are going to do that 5K run. So plug that again for you guys. So again, Facebook,
Port City Beer Run
2023. Check that out on Facebook. We're going to be there. But we're also talking about opening a Patreon. And we would like to have your guys' input. We want to know what you would like to see as bonus content. We have thought about a few things, but we would like to know what your guys thought. And for those of you who listen, and have shared stories with us, we want to know, what would you like to see as bonus content for our Patreon? Put it in the comments below, put it in our Facebook, or a lot of you probably already know us. Reach out to us and let us know what would you like to see us do as bonus content for our Patreon.
Yeah, we're thinking about starting this Patreon just to Isaiah has a whole get up here and he's purchased things for the pod that cover off some of his costs, like a little coffee money here and there. We're not looking to get rich or anything. No. And we certainly don't, and if you don't have it, don't want to give it, that's also fine with us. We're not like judging people who don't donate to our Patreon once we get it up and going. It's just one of those things, like, if you want to, great. Yeah. But if not, no worries.
All the money will go back into making sure that this setup can be even better and all that fun stuff.
Maybe new clothes when we lose so much weight that we can't afford
That's
to buy
right.
them or something. I don't know.
Maybe some non-yellow clothes.
Yeah. I only wear yellow at this podcast. I don't understand why. I've worn the same sweater like for 5 episodes.
Oh, but yes, please let us know what you would like to see down below. And again, if you want to be a guest on our show, please feel free to reach out to us. Tell us what you would like to have a conversation about, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, it'd be great. We'd love to have you. We've got, a good setup here for it at Isaiah's house.
So yeah, but other than that, we thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And we appreciate all the feedback that we get.
We really do. The cards and the messages, and it's been really outstanding to hear from all of you and from people, in the past and the present. It's been wonderful.
Yes. But until next time, bye.
Bye.